Welcome to Delightfully Dysfunctional, a podcast about navigating the emotions of the human condition and the challenges that come with it. I'm Kaylani Persian Mason, a psychotherapist and life coach with James Timmons, an ever-curious human. This is not a replacement for mental health therapy. Please seek out mental health care if that's what you're needing. This is an opportunity for self-healers to dive deep and understand more about themselves. Welcome back to Delightfully Dysfunctional. I'm Kaylani, and I'm here with James. You were just waiting to do that, weren't you?
It was not. It came to me.
Really?
I've done that before.
Really? Okay. All right. He just did.
It's going to be my thing.
Oh, winky gun snap.
Uh-huh.
What is it? Uh-huh.
You know, it's funny. In South Park, they have they call that a finger bang.
Oh God.
And they have that's what they call they create a Christian band.
Oh God.
And they name it Finger Bang for that. And they take hit songs, and instead wherever they say the word baby, they replace it with Jesus. And so now think of some songs that say baby and replace it with Jesus, and it totally works as a Christian song.
Hit me Jesus one more time.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's funny.
Okay. Now I'm going to be doing that when I listen to songs, in my head I'll automatically edit it to say baby Jesus. What about baby Jesus?
Baby Jesus, yeah.
Wait. Oh, my in-ears are right here. They're floating around my neck. Alrighty. Well,
on that note,
yeah. Moving on. Let's easily segue into our topic today.
Yeah.
What episode did you say this is? What number?
See, the funny thing is, my mind went there too. This is only episode 68, but the next one.
Save all your inappropriate jokes for the next one, James.
That's right.
Not now. Now is not the time.
It's actually the next episode number is the reason why I set out to do this podcast.
Yeah.
So once that one,
done? Are you done after
yeah.
that? Oh.
You know, I didn't know how to tell you this.
No.
That's how immature I am. That I'm willing to go those great lengths for an inappropriate
insert the
joke.
Sad mopey music, the string instrumentals. Yeah. Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I'll keep on going.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So glad to hear it. Today, I was asking my husband the other day, what should I do the podcast on? What are some ideas? Help me feel inspired. And he did help me give some direction, and then it was perfect because as we were talking today, it even illuminated more. So it was perfect. Yeah. I love it. And I kind of just enjoy flowing with whatever topics and insights are top of mind and I'm feeling passionate about. So today we're going to be discussing how do we increase our self-awareness?
Yeah.
And what is self-awareness? I think very often, once we have developed more self-awareness, we are just yearning for the people around us to do the same because, boy, is it an easier world when that is happening, when you're surrounded by other people who are self-aware and able to take accountability and be aware of how their actions affect others. So how the heck do you cultivate it? And you're actually a great specimen here in the studio. Yes.
Thank you.
Because as you've shared your life, and especially that of just the last handful of years, I think that's exactly what you've done, is increased your self-awareness.
Yeah.
Would you say so?
I would absolutely say so. And it was not intentional. It was very reluctantly. It was more like I had to eat the humble pie of reality. And then, the product was self-awareness. Because in order to, so basically I self-sabotaged for a couple of years. And it took a lot of brutal honesty with myself to realize that I was I think the greatest self-awareness act that I had experienced was, James, this is your fault. All of this is your fault. You have to take ownership. And that's good news and bad news, because the bad news is, you don't want it to be your fault, but it is. But the good news is every accomplishment, every step forward is also within your power. It's your fault, Right.
You can also cultivate and use your powers for good and for positive changes. That idea of having that much control of our life can feel overwhelming when there's that need to accept where you're at. Oh shit, I'm the common denominator here with this wreckage. And also hopefully you find that silver lining of, okay, well then I can use this as a basis for understanding and maybe what not to do,
for
or
sure.
what to do more of.
Yeah.
And I know you've talked a little bit as we've like discussed things like pulling yourself out of depression, but when it comes to self-awareness, which means really understanding our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, like being an observer of our thoughts and emotions, and feeling more comfort with them, really defining and knowing what our values and our goals are so that life isn't just like bumping us around aimlessly, but we have some direction. What, do you recall any strategies or any things that you started doing differently? Any new habits that maybe began that process? And if nothing comes to you, I can throw out ideas, and I'm sure you have been doing them. Maybe it's hard to identify when I'm asking that way.
No, well, I think I'm understanding your question. So you're asking like, what are some habits and maybe disciplines that I was able to pull myself out of that deep pit? Well,
and to start like paying more attention to your thoughts and feelings instead of feeling just the impulsivity of the moment, like to respond and not just react, or to see like, oh, I do have control over my life. What direction do I want to go in? And my actions do impact others. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think, well, most of the learning, honestly, Kaylin, was with you.
Oh.
And because, I've learned, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners can say the same thing, that we've all learned so much from you and then this podcast, because, I mean, it's been like a mental health journey, for over a year. And I mean, there's every single episode is a new realization, like, oh, I didn't know that, and because I'm just a layman, I'm sure that's no surprise to anyone listening, but
our listeners love you. They're excited for your insights. You dropped some bombs.
Thanks. I dropped some bombs in the toilet. Sorry, dear. There it is again.
He can't help it.
No.
You can't help it. Huh? I wonder if that's a tick. Your bad jokes.
That would explain. Oh my gosh, I'm in control of. Well, that would mean I'm not. Okay, we're digressing.
Oh, no. Yeah. We should have saved this one for the Tourette's episode. That was a good one.
Yeah. So, no, I would say the idea of like taking every thought captive, or like the big mental shift for me was like that nobody was going to come save me, and I was living life on accident.
Yeah.
And it was, and then, when I learned more about mental health and like learning about triggers, and when I would make an action in the middle of a trigger and things like that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, but then I think one of my greatest disciplines was just the act of gratitudes, but then like affirmations, and then like proactively visualizing what I wanted my life to be like, and resisting like impulses and stuff. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I love
it. You're totally like dishing out what I was wanting.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah. And I think that humility that you're talking about too, and we're speaking to, it's like you were receptive to feedback, and you were receptive to learning. I mean, you've been a sponge in personal development in the time that I've known you. So I think so many people, unfortunately, the struggle is that like they're closed off to it, and they're not receptive. And so just the simple act of like, I'm going to be open and receptive and aware of what I don't know, and what I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with being surprised with that on my journey towards my goal.
And you had alluded to that in your Ren Trouble, which, if by the way, go and subscribe to our YouTube and watch that video. I don't know if it's going to be out when this drops. Maybe it will. But either way, if it doesn't, then watch it when it comes out. Yeah.
You'll find it.
Watch the other reactions. Anyway, you had said in Ren's own journey that we've all gotten to watch, which is amazing and beautiful. Like he didn't see what was coming down the road. And so in order to like allow yourself to just exist in reality, to be honest with yourself, where you don't, because like the worst thing we can do is like ruminate and try to predict the future. But in reality, we don't know the future. Like where I am today is something I like dreamed of, but like, or I didn't think it was going to ever happen. Allowing life to unfold, but not on accident, It's like if you just like press into the things that you want today, then there's a pretty good chance they're going to come. And like allowing yourself to hope again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. It can feel really scary to hope when things have crumbled.
Totally.
Whether that's health or finances or relationships. The idea of having the security back in any one of those areas is maybe the most terrifying thing.
Yeah.
And that can get us stuck in a cycle and in a place of like real hopelessness, helplessness, and apathy. And it's a gentle cultivation of that that's really important. I want to invite people to take on what they feel capable of and not to use any of these tips or ideas as something they have to do 100% or do all of them all at once, but think about what fits into your life. So I love that gratitude was mentioned, and that's something that I've talked about too. But how can, even in the hardest moments of the last 5 years, like still finding things that you're grateful for, because there's so much that we can take for granted. So, and I've loved incorporating that into my family life. My daughter Priya, who's 3, is just now starting to understand what gratitudes are and start to share hers too, which is so cute to like see her grasping the concept. But that especially on hard days, it's really important that we do that too, when maybe it takes a little bit more time to identify it. Otherwise, it's so easy for our brain to kind of be like an Etch-a-Sketch and not recall that good things happen in dark places too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how you like navigate out of the dark places in my experience. Cause like I've noticed that just in the human experience, there, like, you can either, with your imagination, you can either catastrophize or hope. Those are your choices. And then, like, if I'm finding myself in a certain situation being pessimistic, then I know that the counter action is gratitude. And then it completely like rewires, it like hijacks your brain. And to where it changes like your whole brain chemistry in that moment.
Better operating system for your brain.
So like let's say I'm like stressed about work and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm really focused on like one little thing that is bothering me. Then I'll go, I'm so thankful for this job. It's provided so many opportunities. And then and then I'm like, okay, this is just one little hiccup in this overall awesome thing, And so I think that it's so easy for us to like get almost held captive by like one tiny little thing and then it ends up like eroding the whole thing, you know?
Yeah. And so keeping that as a practice is something that eases the tension. And I think that if you can share your gratitude with someone else, it amplifies it as well, because you're reliving it, or to journal it out and write it out. There's a real power to just feeling your body, feeling your hand write out your thoughts and your feelings. So journaling is another way that you can really experience your emotions, your thoughts, your reflections, identify patterns and processes. I almost picture like a tangled up ball of yarn in my head, and as I write, I can untangle that and make sense of it right in front of me, where we can fall into cycles oftentimes of, if there's a decision coming up, oh, is it this or is it that, or is it this or is it that? We can feel like our different parts at war with one another, wanting different things. And when you journal, you can make a little bit more sense of it. You can, there's certain strategies too that I've worked with my clients on to really navigate. How do I find a very wise and centered path that isn't just emotional and just logical, but a balance of the two? So journaling or prompted journals, that's another way that we can continue to cultivate that self-awareness. And I love that you've said like goals too, in almost like I'm going to live in a reality where my goals have already been achieved. I feel like that's something, I don't know, I got a hint of that in what you were saying. Like I want to visualize my future looking different. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I've said that, I remember when I was in a season, I consider it my rock bottom of just like depression, heartbreak, everything. And I was listening to Mel Robbins, and she said that, like picture what you want your life to look like in 1 year, and like, imagine like what it feels like and what that person is like, but then start acting like that person today, and so I realized that that person doesn't exist after all the circumstances. Like the circumstances come after that person exists, so that was really helpful. I call that, my level 5. I've shared a lot on this podcast, but yeah, but okay. Well, what about you? What are some of your self-awareness tips and trades?
I really like to continually be learning and be having access to different perspectives at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm always listening to different podcasts and books and have like a nightstand full of books. It's kind of a problem. But that are all focused on that and can illuminate something in a different voice. Oftentimes a lot of therapeutic techniques and a lot of personal growth theories are very, very similar in what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is the energy, the messaging, the certain words, the sentiment of the person that's delivering it. And it's good to get different types of reminders. It's good to like immerse yourself in that.
Yeah.
I've talked about journaling and honest feedback. Like we all have blind spots. Everyone has blind spots. And to be aware of that and try to ask people that you're close with and you really trust, can you help me understand my blind spots? And I would say, I think I've mentioned this before, but ask and be specific about what kind of feedback you want, mild, medium, or spicy. But, if you're someone who's being asked about someone else's blind spots, perhaps give a little buffer of some compliments along the way, a nice compliment sandwich as you deliver that feedback to be gentle. But I think that that's a really important one. And I no longer view my shortcomings or areas where I need to grow as a negative. So that's a really cool place too, to just, that is just an area that I am human and I'm continuing to have practice in growing and in understanding. So there's so much more self-compassion, and it allows for a different depth of growth and a different depth of love and compassion for other people that I now want to tend to just so diligently. It feels so good to love on humanity that much better. And bolder.
Well, and I think that awareness is a synonym for reality. You can
create your reality. Yeah.
But I mean, to be like self-aware means to be like, to be like objective and because if I were to say like somebody who is not self-aware, like they don't know how to like read the room, or they like are a bad driver, or, they bump into things because they're not really like paying attention to their surroundings, so like and that's a whole topic on Tri-Cities drivers, but sorry. But yeah, so I think that because reality can be really brutal and really painful, and to like allow yourself, like you said, self-compassion, to give yourself like that almost protection where it's like, just give it to me, hit me with the painful reality, but I'm going to absorb it with self-compassion because I know the whole story, and then that helps you grow. Because like if somebody were just to come at you with like some brutal honesty about something that you did wrong, but it was like really hard and harsh, then I think most people like kind of recoil, and and it's not received, which then like almost like creates this wall of that hinders their self-awareness,
Right. Yeah, definitely. Either I think people will fall into a place of ego in either direction, where our ego can say, no, that's BS, I'm the best, but do they know, and really kind of have this mindset of I'm better than, I'm other in this way, I don't need to absorb that and put up a wall, or can say, they're right, I'm terrible, I'm not worth any, like that's both our ego at play.
Yeah, that's a great point, because the other end of the spectrum, which I've done, like I remember people that I've hurt and traumatized, like it's almost like I had to agree with them that I was pure evil in order for there to be like some kind of resolution. But then but it's also like, but that doesn't sit right with me either, because I know that I'm not pure evil, you know?
Yeah. No, we're human. We're complicated. The idea of just like good and bad, evil, like, how about we're all growing and developing, and we're at our own paces, and we have all been on, like, we're all the same, but we're all gifted different insights and tools too. Like, I think that I was naturally a very empathetic person, and that is a tool that has really like been beneficial to me.
Yeah.
But other people like have strong resilience, like Ren, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a tool that he has used, and he's been able to just share and shine a light on his story in a way that's so powerful. And being able to reflect on the nuance that each person has in their own growth journey and the trauma they're bringing into their life means a very different perspective that we can carry, where hurt people.
Right.
This isn't about evil. This is about being human is hard.
Yeah.
We all came in disadvantaged in some ways and with gifts and opportunities in others. But at the end of the day, your hands are on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And it's, it is scary and overwhelming to wake up to that. It's also so exciting. It's so exciting. It's like in the Matrix, like, what pill are you going to take?
Right. I've never seen The Matrix.
Oh my God. He's never seen The Matrix, folks.
I'm so sorry. That's the reaction I always get.
Okay. Your homework is to watch The Matrix. Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Like, if I see you next week, will you have watched it?
I think
Do you need 2 weeks for this assignment?
No, I know who I'll watch it with.
Okay.
So, she'll probably have the same reaction. You've never seen The Matrix? So.
Okay. We need to correct this and then let me know.
Because that analogy gets used all the time.
Yeah.
In these conversations.
How sad that you don't understand.
I know that there's like pills, so I'm assuming it takes place at Coachella.
It's pill, so it's like stay in this reality where you are unconscious, or wake up and
be self-aware.
And be self-aware and understand things from a different perspective, a wider perspective.
It's crazy because you used the analogy just now about your hands.
I mean, the story of the Matrix turns that into a completely different, sci-fi fantasy journey.
Yeah.
But the reality of each of us having a choice to stay asleep and to be the martyr and to, be unconscious and to have walls up where we're pushing away relationships and real healing, and there's a lot of comparison and et cetera, that feels so stagnant and anti-growth. Or to take this pill and this opportunity that, you'll have hard insights. You will be challenged, but you also get to see a different perspective of beauty and appreciation for yourself and others and growth and opportunity. And it's scary to put those walls down, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. Like you use the analogy of your hands on the steering wheel, like you can wake up to that. And like I joke around a lot about Tri-Cities drivers. I always say that it's almost like a lot of them don't realize they're behind the steering wheel of a real car. And so like there's like zero self-awareness anyway, but it's true. I mean, like how you were navigating through life, a lot of people are almost like asleep at the wheel, and they don't realize they're in a car. They don't realize that they're the driver, and so it's like, wake up and you can go anywhere.
Yeah. Like, what is it that you want? And like, I think that's a scary question for a lot of people. What is it that you really want in your life?
Yeah.
Like, paint me a picture. And I love what you said. When I'm really having a goal to work towards, I am thinking about what would it feel like?
Yeah.
Not the material things that would be happening, not the achievements or goals. I'm going to like dissect my ego out of this equation. And I just want to sit with, what would it feel like? And for me, when I think about my goal, it feels like freedom. It feels like connection, deep connection with people, like heart to heart, the good stuff. It feels like community. And it feels like I have potential to keep learning and growing with different groups of people and with different, just to gain more and more skills.
Yeah.
And the rest, I don't have to overly focus and obsess about, if I really maintain that focus, I think the right opportunities like fall into line too.
Yeah.
It can feel a little bit like Everest if we have a great big goal. And so it's more about, okay, well, if that's where I'm headed, if those are the things I want, how can I create community here right now?
Right. Yeah.
How can I create a sense of like freedom or excitement or creativity right now with what I have?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that like future goals definitely need to be like specific, but at the same time, like you're going to meet a lot of like supporting characters along the way.
Yeah.
And it's going to be those people, it's going to be so great. Those people that you meet along the way, you know?
Be open to surprises.
Yeah,
like, have
exactly.
a goal, like check in with your values, but be open to the winding path it may take to get there.
Totally. Well, you know, and they say that the journey to the moon, the original Apollo mission that landed on the moon, which I don't believe that we did, but they say that like 98% of it was off course. So that meant that like it was constant little corrections the whole way. But see, like that analogy used to resonate with me a lot, but now I don't believe that we ever landed on the moon. So
you can still let it work with you.
Yeah,
because that's true. That's true of everything. There's all these little corrections. So
Yeah.
I think, I've seen clients, and I myself, this has happened where I'll have like a goal, and when it's not met, then I just take it as such a devastating, like personal failure. And instead of, well, perhaps that wasn't really in alignment with where I was going. And did I not course correct and maybe have clarity in what was going on in my life? I was just so singularly focused and wasn't trusting in or being attuned to my intuition. And so we need the right people around us. I think that helps in cultivating this self-awareness.
Well, and we talk about that analogy of hands on the steering wheel. Like the whole purpose of a steering wheel is for your tiny little corrections for the whole journey. So
yeah. And meditation and mindfulness, I think that's a piece of it too, but there's a lot of people that really struggle with that. So I think in small doses, try to find that space. So like last night, I sound so nerdy like a grandma. Last night, I just paid attention to my cross stitch and decided to like just be fully immersed in what I was doing and take a little moment of time there. And it was less than 10 minutes.
Oh.
It was not a long amount of time, but like, can I just like be at peace with the space right now without adding distraction?
Yeah.
Because we are addicted to distraction, and I don't like the word evil, but if there is like a force that's like holding us back from awareness, it's distraction.
I agree.
Like we need stillness to cultivate these things. And how can you then set aside some time to do that, to be creative and just be fully doing that?
Yeah.
And I really love the ability to, like, I really love self-reflecting. I really love, understanding myself so that I can improve and just have a deeper insight. And so there are assessments that can help. So some personality assessments that I really liked are the Enneagram. I've really liked, there's always the Myers-Briggs that can help you have a deeper insight to yourself. Brene Brown has a free one called the Wholehearted Inventory that I really enjoy and use with clients. And then there's also the emotional quotient or the EQ assessment. And I think that's a really great gauge too for understanding, well, how self-aware am I? How much emotional intelligence is there? And do I have a goal of improving that?
Yeah.
So it's good to have those little benchmarks and that feedback as well.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like we covered a lot when it comes to how to start cultivating personal growth. If anyone is listening to this, you're already on the path.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Good for you. Thanks for tuning in.
Right.
Yeah, look at you.
Look at you
doing things.
Look at us.
Woo!
We're doing it.
Stickers, bonus points. So one thing that I think is a really good starting point for people is to ask yourself, what are my core values? What are the things that I really want and are important in life? And pull up a list if that's easier so that you can, feel inspired by it and really resonate with the words in front of you. And if you're able to create a mission statement based on those core values. This is something I really love doing with my clients. So you could also join my wait list and we can do this together. But identifying your core values helps give you intention to know where you're going and helps you eliminate things that might be distractors or not help you on that path. And the other thing that I think is really important if we're kind of in a beginning phase or just wanting to have a boost perhaps in where your growth and your personal growth is practice those gratitudes. What are you grateful for today?
Yeah.
So let's model that, James, if you're okay, and share 3 things that we're grateful for. And I'll start.
Okay.
So today, before the podcast, I got to speak with someone who will be a guest down the road, and it was just such an inspirational, exciting flow of ideas. And so I'm excited that I got to make that connection. It was wonderful. I'm excited and I'm happy about today being a day where I get to spend more time with Oakley, my bonus son.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit more ease to the day on Wednesdays, and that's always nice. And I'm really grateful that I'm in a season where I'm starting to notice my hard work pay off, and the things that I've been chipping away at, they're starting to be like a weight that's lifted in, like, yeah, you can enjoy this space a little bit more. And that feels really good. There's a little bit of a slowdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm grateful for my job, this podcast, and like the hard work that we've been pouring into all that stuff. And I'm thankful for new relationships and like the people that are like coming into my life. And then I'm thankful that for my kids, I have a lot of things that I'm thankful for. And then I was going to say, I'm thankful that I, woke up today and that
life. Thank you.
Yeah. That it's not over yet. And I keep, so
gratitude allows us to see life as an adventure with like little treats along the path.
Yeah.
And when we're too busy and we're too just focused on things that aren't really aligned with our values, we can forget that.
Yeah.
And so please do yourself a treat. And as soon as we are done, take a moment on your own or with someone that you care about and share what you're grateful for today.
Yeah.
And it can be small and sweet, like the sky was blue and I saw a beautiful flower blooming, and have gratitude for the fact that your eyes work and operate enough to take in that beauty.
Yeah.
These are the little things that are really important to pause on.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Delightful Humans, for tuning in to this episode of Delightfully Dysfunctional. And you can subscribe, give us a review. It would mean the world. We also have therapist reaction videos on YouTube to a range of very cool songs that really elicit a lot of emotion and growth and on everything that we're talking about. Everything that we're talking about personal growth and alignment. And so, if you want another deep dive or want to sprinkle it in, we've got options for you. We do. Thank you for joining me and James.
And me.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.